Mr. Danielson will be filming us today. So thank you for being here, Bruce.
Most importantly, thank you for supporting there's so few independent radio stations left. I mean, it's just basically a bunch of billionaires got together and between Clear Channel and Cumulus, they own basically every major stick in the United States, and neither one of these corporations are willing to put progressives on the radio. And you know, y'all here took this into your own hands. It's something happened. I think it's just absolutely marvelous. Forgive me for sitting down. Normally I like to stand up, but I had back surgery about 10 weeks ago, and it's kicking my ass once in a while. It is right now. But I wanted to share some thoughts with you. In fact, I actually made some notes. So just to start at the beginning, there's a political reality here that we need to be, number one, acknowledging, and number two, sharing with everybody we know. And I'll summarize it. The old saying, tell them what you're going to tell them, then tell them what you told them. I'm going to summarize it, and then I'm going to break it a little bit, and then we'll get to what we can do about it. And the summary is very simple. Not only is Donald Trump a fraud, but the Republican Party right now is a fraud. It's a massive fraud. This is an organization that frankly, I think qualifies for prosecution under the racketeering, influence, and corrupt organizations of the RICO laws. In particular, some of the ways that they have been behaving, shall we say. I live in a marina in Washington, D.C., the reason I live on this boat. And we've got probably 2/3 of the people that live around are retired or active duty military. It's an inexpensive way to live in Washington, D.C., actually. And it's kind of cool. You get to know neighbors and friends and a wide range of people. And I remember when Donald Trump was running for president, sitting around, in the marina. There's a little clubhouse there where we can sit and have a beer and chat with folks, talking with my neighbors. And, a couple of them actually were pretty enthusiastic about Donald Trump. And so, I normally don't argue politics with my friends and neighbors just for the fun of it. I mean, I do it for a living kind of. But I was generally curious, why would you support Donald Trump? And, we were just, one evening, this was like in October, and one of them was like, well, he's going to fix Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. He's going to keep these programs solid. He told us, you've been paying into this all your life. We made a deal a long time ago, and I've been hearing from, and this guy's telling me, I've been hearing from the Pete Peterson Institute. I've seen this on Meet the Press. I've seen it on Face the Nation. I've seen it on all the big shows, that everybody knows that Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid are all going to collapse. And Donald Trump has said he's going to fix it. And I'm going, okay. And then, another person says, we really need to bring jobs back to the United States. Well, actually, let me just deconstruct these one at a time, okay, with regard to healthcare. So, this is a complete scam. Donald Trump ran as a Democrat. Like, this is what people have to realize. He ran as a Democrat. In all these things that I'm going to go through here with you, these are all Democratic positions. And he said he's going to protect Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And instead, what's Paul Ryan doing? And Donald Trump is cheering him on. Let's privatize Social Security, let's voucherize Medicare, and let's block grant Medicaid to the states, which means over time it's going to collapse. Medicare, their plan is going to cut at least 4 years off the lifespan of Medicare. They're taking a chunk out of that program, and now they want to wipe out Obamacare. Well, fine, wipe it out if you replace it with single payer. That would be fine. But an easier transition would be to simply put a public option into Obamacare, and eventually everybody will be on Medicare anyway. I've been on Medicare now for a year, almost a year. It'll be a year in May, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. You know, I had this back surgery 10 weeks ago. I had to see 4 different doctors, you know, a neurologist, an orthopedic surgeon, a regular, you know, all these kind. I had 2 MRIs, an X-ray, and a surgical procedure. No bills. You know, so far I've gotten $35 worth of bills from this. That's it. And it's just, all you do is you give them your card number, you give them the card, and they write down the number, and that's it. It's who are not yet, who know about Medicare, it's just amazing, and they want to screw this thing up and ruin it. So, you know, there's that fraud. Then this other guy says, well, okay, oh, and the last thing on Obamacare that I want to share with you is, you know, one of these guys was sitting around going, well, you know, look at all these, you know, rate increases. Now, keep in mind, this is October. Look at all these rate increases on Obamacare. I mean, this thing is falling apart. People are talking about 20, 30, 40% increases, and it's gotten a lot of publicity. I don't know if you saw the piece in the New York Times a couple days ago that broke it down. 3% of Americans were experiencing rate increases. 3%. We're actually having to pay them. Obamacare was making up the rate increases by increasing the subsidies for pretty much everybody else. But, you know, that somehow didn't get through. What did get through is the rates are going up. Now, what didn't get through, again, and this is how totally useless and dysfunctional so much of our corporate media is back in 2015, and you know, all you have to do to learn all about this is just plug into any search engine, Google, DuckDuckGo, whatever it may be, Marco Rubio risk corridors. And you will get an article that ran in the New York Times in October of 2015, right? A year and a half ago, in October of 2015, talking about how he had just slipped this provision into the omnibus budget bill that takes effect October 1st. That, well, just back up a little bit. When they rolled out Obamacare,
one way or another,
they knew, they knew that saying to the insurance companies, you are going to have to start paying the bills for a whole bunch of brand new customers who are already sick and have pre-existing conditions, and you're still going to have to pay their bills. They knew that those health insurance companies were going to lose money as a consequence of that over the short term. Because you get all these people, particularly, you know, from red states, who have not had health insurance and therefore have not had health care and therefore are really sick. And it's going to take them a couple of years to get that cleaned up, you know, to get their conditions under control, to get their blood sugar under control, whatever it may be. It's going to take a couple of years. And so for the first decade of Obamacare, they said, we're going to put this thing on where if an insurance company at the end of the year has lost money, all they have to do is document that to us, and we'll write a check for that amount. We will make you whole. Do not be afraid to be an Obamacare provider. And that check that protects you from falling off one side or the other, you insurance company, that's called the risk corridor. You know, if you hit the risk corridor, we're going to cover it for you. So the insurance companies were moving forward, and they were being covered, and they were being compensated, and it was working. And then Rubio goes in and he defunds the risk corridors. He rips that money out, and he puts it into the October 2015 budget. Now, for a lot of people, it takes a minute to realize that the federal government does not run on a January to December fiscal year. It runs on an October 1st to September 31st fiscal year. Which means that if you do something in the 2015 budget that's going to hit at the beginning of the next fiscal year, the real consequences are going to hit then. That's going to be an October year from then, right? So a year from October 2015 was October 2016, which was 6 weeks before the election. And that was when the risk corridors were completely wiped out and the health insurance companies started pulling it out. In fact, I did a Google search on this 3 days ago where you can time select it, and I was just looking at October 2016, the month before the election, from October 1st to October 31st, just for 4 weeks. And there's over 1,000 stories in the media about health insurance rates rising. Over 1,000, I mean, just boom. you know, New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, the whole thing. And none of them pointed out that the reason the rates were going up was because Marco Rubio and a group of Republicans did away with the risk corridors, that they crippled Obamacare. This was intentional. This was an October surprise. This was a bomb that was gonna drop in our faces 6 weeks before the election, and did. Okay, so healthcare. So tell your friends, right? And that's the New York Times article about it is amazing. It's really putting out character. So then another one of these guys, we need to bring our jobs back home. We've got to do something about this stupid trade policy. We've got, you know, all these crazy trade policies, and as a result of this, all these companies have moved overseas. And Donald Trump says he's going to blow up these trade deals and he's going to bring these jobs back. And I'm like, do you know what happened in 2009? And he's like, you know, legislatively, and he's like, no. And well, the Democrats in the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi, got passed a bill, a piece of legislation that ended the tax deductibility of offshoring your business, did away with the tax incentives to ship jobs overseas, and replaced it with a tax incentive to bring your business back. It passed the House, it went to the Senate, it had more than 50 votes in the Senate, it would have passed, except the Republicans filibustered. It died. So Donald Trump campaigned on doing what the Democrats had already done in 2009, but Republicans had fought, and again, the friggin' media never pointed it out. And frankly, truth be told, neither did the Democratic Party. You know, we've got some work to do on our messaging, and we need to own that. Another guy says to me, well, Donald Trump, he supports the unions. Look, he's there with the coal miners, he's there with the workers in the Midwest. You know, it's like, you know, he's got all these union members, he's going to have union heads come in, you know, he's working on behalf of the union. I don't even know how to respond to that, you know. I do know how to respond to it, but it's grim. But he's continuing this scam. I got a long email today from Donald Trump, and I encourage you, by the way, to go to Donald Trump's website and sign up for his newsletter. It doesn't mean that you have to give him any money. I gave him $5 a year and a half ago, because I wanted to be on his donor list. But I've discovered since then that if you just sign up, you get these things, and you can see what tens of millions of Americans are getting like 2-3 times a week. Today's email was this long list of his accomplishments, how he's made America safe now by protecting us from the terrorists from those 7 countries who want to do to us what they did at 9/11. Excuse me, nobody from any of those 7 countries had anything to do with 9/11. He says he's talking about bringing back jobs, about how ExxonMobil is going to invest $20 billion. Well, yeah, except that they started that in 2013. Anyhow, it's crazy. Infrastructure. Another guy says, oh, he's going to rebuild our infrastructure. It's falling apart. Well, again, the Democrats got this out of the House in 2009. Got rid of this. Got it over to the Senate where it died. As a consequence, that'll reset the battery or something. See, but I think we've got a dying battery. But I'm not going to talk that much longer anyway. So, he says he's going to rebuild the infrastructure. Now it turns out that's a scam, right? The way that they're going to rebuild the infrastructure, we know from the Eisenhower highway system that if you put $1 million into freeway infrastructure, in a major infrastructure like this, you're going to get back $100 million or even $1 billion, even $1,000 million in added tax revenue as a result of the increased economic activity coming out of that. I mean, we know this. We've been through this. We've seen this work. So the Republicans look at this and go, oh, you can make money on infrastructure. Well, some billionaires should be making that money, shouldn't they? So this $1 trillion thing is going to be $800 billion coming from private investment. They're going to put toll roads on our highways and our bridges and everything. Plus, they're not going to have any interest in infrastructure that they toll, which is tragic. So Anyhow, now my friends, it's really interesting. A couple of them, I know they voted for Trump, and they'll say, I don't remember who I voted for. Just not sure. There's a lot of that going around. Have you noticed? Somebody earlier today came up to me and said, you know, my boyfriend, I think she said, won't tell me who he voted for. Why is that? And I said, because he's embarrassed he voted for Trump. But what is happening, and this is the good news, what is happening is that these people who are friends and neighbors of mine who voted for Donald Trump are starting to go, what? You know, Scooby-Doo, what? Because it's starting to sink in. It's starting to get through. You know, not only is the guy a misogynist and a liar and all that, but the entire party is functionally a con. These guys are grifters. And our job has to be to call out that con, to make it very clear, and to offer a positive alternative. And you can just go through the list of everything that FDR and Harry Truman and Lyndon Johnson and Jack Kennedy and Jimmy Carter campaigned on and fought for. And Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, and see that, you know, the Democratic Party is the place for this stuff, for the, you know, making America functional again. So I am very optimistic about 2016, about or 2018, excuse me, about the election coming up. And because what I'm seeing, while there's some very, very good marketing going on coming out of the Trump campaign, and now he actually is running for president in 2020, so only for that. There's some very good messaging, which is kind of scary to me. But on the other hand, people are waking up, and it takes all of us to awaken this country, and that's our work, right? We've got a job here. Tag Lori. Thank you so much for being here.
Security, escort this gentleman out, please.
Come on, Soda Pop, let's go.
What kind of morons run this outfit?